2002, I got to go to one meeting and they've been working on it since before then, and they still haven't finished it. It's amazing.
What is it?
The Natural Resources Damage Assessment Claim. So anyway, what it is that it is not about the damage to humans. It's about damage to natural resources. So it's damage to mink and so they have to put a value on ecosystem services and on critters and natural resources and everything. And GE has to pay that off. So, but it's amazing how long it's taken. And there's trustees that have to determine, and people's entire careers have gone by, without anything being finished. Does anybody have?
You are live and
Yes.
we are recording, so you
Yep.
can call the meeting to order at any time.
Okay. I'm not going to call it yet because I have to do something first. Did you want to be on the minutes or anything, or? Okay. Okay. So I just got all the follow-up material, so that's good. And so,
All right. Thank you. Yeah. An agenda?
right, I just looked at what, I made some corrections to the minutes, and Kevin and I are trying to get them to
I
each
don't think
other.
I was here.
You weren't, I don't think you were either. There were some.
I think it says excuse, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
then you would
with
say
the
it
bad
should-
quality stuff.
Oh, no, we took that out. No, no.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that was a
there's-
holdover from the previous.
Yeah, there were a couple of things.
Julie sent me her comments and I picked all that up already.
Okay, yeah, so you probably picked it all up. It was. I
And there
didn't
was
pick
a
it
couple of
up.
commas that should have been periods.
Yeah,
Under Melissa Ayasheta. The wood smoke, there was no update on that. The same as complete streets, it's old. And I didn't put the date in for the LWRP, which was November 2nd, so that's down in there. I don't know if you had anything else.
oh, sorry. I did just-
Uh,
So do you want to come, let's let's have the meeting come to order.
Right, 6:40. I put.
And, okay, so the meeting's come to order, we're already recording. Kevin's here, Ted's here, Helen, Brianna, me, and Anita, everyone's here, Julie is here. So, and our guest speaker is not going to be here, so, are there any modifications to the agenda before we go to the approval of the minutes?
I would just say that I did put Hudson River Barge anchorages under new business, but technically it probably should be under old business.
Okay, yeah. So we were discussing the minutes and it just seemed like, yeah, there were some things from the September meeting that got left into these notes. I would just say that one place given was written twice.
Do you know where that is?
Yeah, it's under the third line of the special presentation.
Oh.
Julie probably.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I think I'll ask the writers in the room, 6.4 tons is have, not has, right? Tons have been collected, not has. And
Where is that?
that's about the organics. That's okay. every day, gotcha. And then, I cut some stuff out that wasn't supposed to be in there. The only thing that I didn't really understand was, I think the comment got taken off. I didn't understand exactly how you described the, I love this name, the Soul Star. Soul Smart. I love Soul Smart, but you said Soul Smart indicated an area that needs improvement is with respect to impervious surfaces, which should only be exempt from lot coverage requirements if there is vegetative cover. I didn't understand. I guess I understood it at the meeting, but I don't understand it now.
I have to
Julie, do you
go
remember
through the
that?
Soul Smart document and see the chapter and verse we're talking about.
But why does Soul Smart care?
Why do they care about what?
Soul Smart indicated an area that needs improvement with respect to impervious surfaces, which should only be exempt from lot coverage requirement if there's vegetative ground cover. Is that Soul Smart or was that the zoning?
They were reviewing the zoning.
But I thought they were only doing it for solar, so what's it got to do with,
Out of context, I don't really know.
okay. I will just leave it in, I guess, and then
I don't know offhand.
I get, anyway,
Oh,
okay.
you already take, I can take it out.
No, you can leave it in and at least.
But I think they did make a few recommendations.
Yeah,
And they may not have necessarily been specific to solar.
well, it could have been.
Solar was their mission
Okay.
to do, yeah, but then if they picked up something else, they threw it out at us.
Okay,
Again, I have to go back into the Soul Smart document. And
but okay, the main thing about this, the minutes here is that whether or not we're gonna take any action on that the farm-based code doesn't cover large scale projects.
Right. Yes.
So, right, that's all. So is everyone okay with accepting the minutes as amended and corrected and all that? All right, so we have a motion, right?
So move.
Anita,
second.
okay, Helen, okay, thank you.
We have to vote.
All in favor, sorry. All agree. Passed, okay. All right, so I'm the one that doesn't have an agenda. So over there, everyone. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so Simon Gruber wanted to talk about the EPA community change grant. He decided he needed a little more time. Simon Gruber is kind of an independent consultant that's very interested in heat islands and mitigation and the relationship between trees and health. And then that brings in green infrastructure too. So Julie, do you have anything more to report on that? Were you able to talk to him?
I did. The bottom line is sort of that I'm not sure there's a role in what he wanted to talk about with CAC. He basically wants to know, he said he wants to apply to a grant. But he didn't really give me the details about the grant, so we're gonna follow up in the future.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow up with him just through my office. So if
Okay.
there's a role for CAC, he'll come back.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so then, old business, I just want to say that I have not had any time to do anything. So I probably didn't follow up on anything, but is there anything on wood smoke?
No, I'm sorry, I've been traveling so you and I should look at something. So I think you want to.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
I have a possible angle on this,
Okay.
which is inspired by a Facebook comment I saw. Complaining on the city's Facebook page, asking why the city is using gas-powered air blowers and equipment, and maybe just like the pesticide law, that might be somewhere to start. If I can't imagine DPW might hate that, but and I know the budget, I think they just had the DPW budget meeting
They're having it right now.
right now. So it's probably a little too late for this year, but maybe it's something we could like seed for next year.
That's a great
transition.
Yeah.
And it's not just DPW, because it's parks.
Parks.
Yeah.
Parks.
It's mostly
We-
parks.
We could even ask the county about it too, maybe countywide.
Mhm.
So that's just something, I don't know how to move forward with that, but it's just something I wanted to bring to the meeting.
How many do you want, you and I to work on?
Yeah. Um, okay, sorry, zoning, solar mapping tool. There were two things, I think. Well, I think we just, anyway, I don't have anything to report, so does anyone else have anything to say?
No, not now.
Has anyone had time to look at it?
Look at what?
The mapping tool, like.
Oh, the mapping tool, yeah, I messed around with the mapping tool, played
Uh-huh.
with it, yeah, sure. Yeah, It's a good tool. But I think what we covered last time was that it doesn't, right, you have, it has biodiversity layers or a biodiversity layer that is roughly equivalent to the community preservation plan and the open space plan and the natural resource mapping and all that. So it sort of excludes that from solar. Now, which leaves you with parking lots and rooftops.
Right, and that's why I think some of our discussion was whether or not do we need something that says you can have or not have large solar if other things are saying you can't? Do we need an ordinance?
Yeah, and I'm not sure that we do. I mean, it's almost like a question for the core council. Maybe we could recommend that, but then they say that's just going to muddy up the water, so to speak.
And is there
Code, there may be pushback, I'm not sure. We'd have to,
anything from you, Julie? And then if it's on rooftops, is there anything that we need to do? We can encourage it,
We can encourage it.
yeah.
and if it's a large scale project, there's other state regulation, regulatory
If it's really
process.
large,
Check-
yeah.
if it's really large, right?
Right.
And if it's just a glorified rooftop thing, a bit bigger than a house, private house, something like the Murphy Center, I don't think, that didn't trigger any regulatory, I don't think.
No.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of the type of installation you'd be doing on municipal buildings,
Yeah.
parking lots like the Repco Energy Square, where they have the canopies.
But it could be the gymnasium, the swimming pool at the
Mm-hmm.
high school, it could be stuff on top of the plaza, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. City plan review. Raise, how's Raise going?
Race is going great. We had, a kickoff meeting, the money's coming from the United States Department of Transportation, but the money's flowing through the New York State Department of Transportation, so we had our meeting with local DOT folks. And we decided to do it all in one phase, so it won't be 5 phases anymore, it'll all be done by one designer and one contractor. Or one general contractor with subs, all as one phase. And so it's gonna take us a long time to get a contract, like a year, we need to do some NEPA, so some environmental review first, so that'll be the first step. That's where that is.
You do the NEPA review and then you would at some point put out bids or request for proposals or something.
Yes, to do design. Yep. Kingston Point Park improvements. We had a pre-permitting meeting with the Department of Environmental Conservation the other day. And we had representatives from their wetlands division, their landfill division, and a biologist, and then Bernier and Larios and the engineering office, myself, and talked about whether or not they would permit the project, which would be turning the parking lot into the wetland, and then raising the other part of the parking lot. And the bottom line is, although it was only a pre-permitting meeting, they basically indicated that we should be good. So we were trying to figure out a few things, including how my project will interface with Ray's, because we're raising Delaware Avenue. So it's likely that we're going to actually permit both projects together with DEC. And then move them forward on different timelines with design and construction, but permit them at the same time, because we'll be working in the same space. So we did have a preliminary meeting to talk about how high we want to raise Delaware Avenue, and looked at the existing elevations, the projections, and major events like the December 22nd flood that we had, which got up to between 5 and 6 feet. Right now, if you are familiar with going down Delaware Avenue and you get to the light at North Street with the cat house, I call it the cat house. That is 5 feet right there. And then the water bathroom down by the Costco or the tanks is 5 feet, and everything else in between is less. Which means everything else in between was underwater, with the exception of my elevated parking lot that I built. So if we want it all to be not underwater for events like that, we have to at least raise it up to 5 feet. So we're looking at between 5 and 6 feet.
But what about?
Not 5 feet in addition to what is there. So right now it varies from the road itself. The lowest part of the road is like 3.5. So that would be a 1 to 2 foot raise on the road in some sections. And then the parking lot that's underwater is at the lowest 1.4. And high tide, the breaching of the high tide is like 4 feet. So, yeah, we're still figuring that all out. None of these numbers are solid yet, but it all comes into the design of both projects, so.
Yeah, then how do you go into Kingston Point Beach?
Yep, so everything not only has to tie into the existing road, it's got to tie into the Heritage Costco or Hop Energy place. It's got to tie into the beach road, and it's got to not flood everything else. So all of it has, and you can't just, if you think about between the cat house and the parking lot, like where BMX is, there's no shoulder. It's just land and then water. There's just a guide rail with no shoulder at all. So that part, we also need to be able to put in a 10-foot wide walkway. So we're trying to still figure out what that means. So you can't just raise the road and then just have cliffs on the side. There's got to be a total slope on the side which also means,
But you're talking about doing it with fill, not with like, I don't know, like a bridge. You're not.
correct,
Yeah,
It would
so
be
it's
that.
with fill.
so it would be a seamless transition.
Are there any, just thinking about a bridge and like past, designs I've seen, are there any part of the race grants that's infrastructure that's like designed to be inundated and then, or is it all
To accommodate it,
raising?
we are really not that far yet. The fact that we're even talking this far on Delaware is literally just because I'm moving along on my project. We're not even contracted yet for the race grant, so really, they're, 99% of that has not been figured out yet. Kingston Organics, we just surpassed 10 tons of fruit
Oh my
scraps collected. I know, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
I'm up to 821 people, which represents 371 families.
Can I make a request?
Sure.
I use the Forsyth Park bits, and whilst you can prop the locked lid open, the actual bin lid itself doesn't stay open, and so you have to kind of hold it open with one thing, and it's slightly. I don't know if there's a solution to that. I keep getting smeared.
Yeah, I don't know how we would do that. I can look at it. I don't know.
Thank you. It's a tiny thing, but
It's all right. All tiny things add up and we need success. So.
I think, it might be putting people off, is what I'm saying. Because
Okay.
it's like, it can be a little more grubby than
Okay.
like.
And,
Last time I went, I accidentally dropped my bucket and I got compost juice on my shoes and like, I washed them, but I felt like I could smell it for days.
You can smell it for days.
Yeah.
The days that I follow and shadow them and then go out to Upper, I smell like it for days.
All right.
Or it's like just
Imagine
like
being
in
somebody who
your
does it every day.
Yeah. And I always leave it way too late, so stuff's
You
going
do?
really gross, which is great for the organics, but
Yeah.
um,
Were you gonna say something?
Following up on her comment about lids. And I don't remember the name of the park. It's at the end of Hunter Street.
Block Park.
oh, block.
Is it Block
yeah,
Park?
you're
Okay.
big, yeah.
The outer lid doesn't prop.
Oh, does it?
There's a metal bar that you pull forward.
Yeah, and it
It
doesn't latch or catch or whatever it's supposed to do.
Oh, good information. Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing. I think it'd be good to have an instruction on the lid saying pull the bar, because you have to figure that out for yourself. And a lot of people are not used to, I don't know, wouldn't do any harm.
Great suggestions.
Are you still planning on, I know you had said in an email about getting new locks, maybe?
So we did new locks at all of them, as far as I know. I was told that they were, so instead of it's the same lock, but it now has like a lasp. Instead of just being like the whole thing that goes like that into the lid that was made by the manufacturer, we added like a thing that closes over like that, and then you lock into that and twist it.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different.
Hmm.
And I was told that was done at all the sites.
Yeah, it had changed at full side. The padlock is stiff,
This
and
stuff.
it's also quite hard to see them. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I feel so negative, like,
It's okay.
it's
And Forsyth
not.
is the one, is 30% of our, 30% of 821 people are going to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
It could be the case that I just need to change the lock to every 6 months.
right.
Well, I could see
Or
with like
lubricate them.
the winter and moisture, yeah, they're.
Yeah, because they're metal,
Yeah, okay.
and also the numbers are quite small.
The first time I did it, I put them in, I had it upside down.
Yes,
They were
right.
backwards.
Yes.
And I was like, this is wrong. And I like, thought I was about to leave and I figured it out.
Just so you all know, I keep track of the number of people who complain and what they're complaining about. And so far, via email or call, I've got 36 complaints from users or comments, and more than half of them about the locks. But I still say to myself, out of 371 families,
That's pretty good.
that's only 15
Yeah.
people complaining about the locks isn't so bad. But I need every single person to be happy about it, so
Yeah,
we'll do what we can.
I wonder if there's one that, so because you're right, in the winter, it's gonna be really hard on your fingers. If there's one that isn't all metal.
that
Padlock.
kind of defeats the purpose unless it's.
Well, I mean, or it could just have a plastic
Oh,
casing.
yeah, right.
And also one with bigger numbers, because I never take my glasses in the car. Like, what?
Yeah, because like a bicycle cable lock is pretty big, you know? And whatever.
All right, well, these are good suggestions.
But that's fantastic. What did you say, 10 tons?
10 tons we just hit last
That
week,
was-
bringing us up to 9.99 tons.
And
That's incredible.
what was the minutes from, I just read them.
6.4.
6 points, so that's,
Wow,
so that's
really
4
great.
more
that
and.
doesn't include the
Whatever.
ton sitting on the back deck.
That's gotta be pumpkins, right? Do you think?
It's
Yeah,
hard to
like-
tell, I told everyone, don't put your pumpkins in there, put them in the yard waste, but if you need to put them in there, you can. I didn't shadow last week, so I don't know how many of it were pumpkins, but I will say that we picked up a day early because there was a holiday on Friday, we picked up a day early, and this was the week after, must have been the week after
Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah.
So we only collected for 6 days, and we still collected 0.6 tons, which is the same amount that we've normally collected in a week. So we'll see, I don't know, I have this dual, like, fear that the totes will be filled with pumpkins, and also like, I hope the totes are filled with pumpkins. So,
Either way,
I don't
it's
know.
good.
Anyway, it's going great, and I have not heard about the grant yet, but I expect that by the next time we meet, I will have heard about
Phase 2.
phase 2,
Secret.
which is awesome.
Oh, did you send me suggested containers?
Did I or will I?
I think you might have done, but would you do it again?
Yep. You mean for your kitchen?
Yes.
Yep.
One other question, is phase 2 funded by the same climate smart grant or is it a different?
If it is successful, it would be, yes.
Okay, I was,
But like eons more, lots more.
I was telling someone at the EMC about, they were asking about funding for an organics program, and I looked up, and I could only find the phase 1 reference to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
climate smart, so I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, it's the same.
Oh, I thought you didn't even get a grant, that you just did it within house money. Or do you?
Okay, well, let me clarify. So the phase 1, the plan itself, the writing of the plan itself was funded by the Climate Smart.
Right, or
The money that I have that I used to roll out phase 1, which was about $10,000, we had in the actual general fund. My time is being used through a DEC municipal waste and recycling reduction grant, which pays for my time every year to work on recycling.
Mhm.
This new phase 2, if we get that, will come out of Climate Smart.
Thanks.
Phase 1 was so long ago that. I forgot.
Yeah.
It took so long.
Yeah, so.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and community preservation plan, great. We've been having discussions with Kingston Land Trust folks and Scenic Hudson about moving that forward next year. And so it seems like we're gonna take the winter to create a strategy for moving that forward, which will include some surveying of the community, securing funding, working ideally with the Trust for Public Lands, Scenic Hudson and Nature Conservancy, and then creating getting a temperature of the community about how people feel about a community preservation fund. Based on that, we'll be moving forward with 3 local laws that are required for the fund. That would probably happen in the spring. And then if those all are adopted, a campaign led by Kingston Land Trust in the summer and the referendum in the fall.
Summer 2024.
Yep.
It's still moving really fast. It's great. Okay. Pace University Resilience Assessment. So Kevin and I and Julie and Anita were all on that, right?
Yeah.
And we just go over questions and try to answer them. And we have so I can't even say what they're about. Maybe someone else could pipe in on that.
I had a question, and I was on the train when I was
Oh, good for
doing
you.
this. And we got to Poughkeepsie at 2:30, and I lost the meeting. And by the time I relog onto
yes.
the phone, you guys were gone.
Yes.
So my question is, and I don't think Jessica or Tiffany had the answer, but you brought the question up initially, was with the Esopus Creek.
Right.
And whether that would require a separate LWRP, or are we talking about expanding the boundaries of the current OWRP to include the Esopus Creek?
I don't know the answer to that. Who would make that decision?
I think we do. I mean, the city does.
But DOS would have to weigh in on that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
They could
DOS.
say no because it's a, I forget the section code. It's a designated inland waterway, the Esopus.
Mhm.
And Hudson was in Rondout, different thing. And a lot of the text is specific to Rondout and Hudson.
Yeah, but we're gonna change the whole thing.
Can you remind me what LWRP means?
Local Waterfront Revitalization Plan.
Program,
Well, it's a program, and then we have a plan.
right. They specifically call it a program because they don't want the plan just sitting. And it's it basically, it's what it says, but it's looking at.
But is it
Coastal management.
economic or like talking about flooding? I don't know.
The existing, should we say program? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We used to do the reviews at the Heritage Commission, and we had 40 some odd policies. Some of them have A, B, C sections.
Coastal consistency.
So it
policies.
probably ends up being, around 50 policies when you're done. It could be, and some of it will be ecological biodiversity habitat. Some of it's historic preservation, some of it's economic development and working waterfronts. And typically whenever we have a meeting about it with the stakeholders, they all pick their little section and highlight them, like Rob, will highlight working waterfront. We may highlight soft shorelines as something we want to do going forward, and public access. So it can, depending what your point, what your position is as a stakeholder, will affect which portion of the LWRP you're going to present on and want the city to consider.
And it's from 1994, and so the idea of meeting with Pace University was to kind of take us through this resiliency guide, which is not totally, it's not an LWRP kind of checklist or anything, but the idea is if you go through all these resiliency and understand what you need to know about resilience, then you can apply to get funding to have someone write a new LWRP. And originally, the LWP was definitely coastal because that's what DOS does, is they're the coastal management agency for the state. But I know there's been talk, but of this inland waterway of including it. And I personally feel like, yes, we have 3 water bodies that are borders, and so we should be looking at the Esopus and including the Esopus. Because there's flooding and there's other stuff that,
Then would
Yeah.
it include the Hudson too?
it does already include the Hudson and the Roundup, yeah.
The reason I
I believe.
ask is because I mentioned this to you, but the lower service management plan is about to be done. I think I
Right.
just wonder if it would complement that or like duplicate efforts, or it's a whole different thing.
Tried to get Mary McNamara to tell me the answer to that question, and she couldn't do it because the plan is still it's embargoed, it's under wraps with the consultants.
But I think, the bottom line is, I think it would inform us, right?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
they would look at, everything. And the one thing about our Esopus is that, it's a lot, some of it is behind
Plaza.
the plaza. And, it's not like we have a waterfront area where people go down and even launch a canoe or anything, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's different totally than the rest of it. Because, the levee's there and there's no public access. And then the next, that I know of, the next public access is in the town of Ulster.
Yeah.
But all that area is really important wetland habitat, all that floodplain area. And stuff like that. It's got, I don't know, on the other side, there's ag and everything. So I think it's worth putting in if we can.
Well, I was gonna save this for open issue discussion, but it fits in. Mary McNamara has reached out to me to help with some outreach for the lower surface management plan. They're having a meeting December 5th, public meeting, where they're revealing the plan.
December 5th?
December 5th at, I believe it's at the Restorative Justice Center at Screenshot.
Yeah, I think so.
And I can tell you right now. So, yeah, it's at the Restorative Justice Center, 6 to 8 p.m., December 5th, and there will be a Zoom link as well. But something, the Kingston Land Trust has worked with Mary and some other people over the last few years to do some clearing of debris for
Right.
recreation and stuff. So we're always talking about access, and access as like a gateway to education and stewardship of the creek. And the levee, my understanding is the levee behind the plaza is not good.
They changed the standard, so it's too low.
Right.
It's decertified.
Decertified, thank you.
So it seems like there's a major opportunity to replace it and then layer on public amenities in the design of that. And it feels like a potential project that Kingston should look at. I imagine like something like with a raise grant, but smaller.
That's a really good point. So I have no idea about like why the levee was put in the first place and,
I mean, there's
pretty much
gotta be a-
protecting private property.
Isn't that part of the Lydian Park?
The what?
No,
No.
it's closed and it could be
Okay.
integrated.
Yeah.
With the,
Yeah,
The purpose is flood control for the plaza, but also for Dutch Village.
right. And protect.
Right. And I mean, I would think too, the transportation routes at risk, because it kind of like access from the thruway to Kingston, uptown and stuff. Anyway, that's just something.
Yeah, I mean,
Mary
that,
talked about.
the traffic circle definitely has flooded in the past.
Really?
Yeah, like in 2005.
The town of Ulster one.
Which the levy wouldn't really
Talking
help.
about the town of Ulster traffic circle or ours?
Oh, the through it one, yeah.
Yeah.
But it definitely, yeah, it was, if you got off the thruway, you had to go all the way to Saukville, pass the mall and come back down to Broadway or something. And that was a good, but, yeah, that's an idea. I mean, the thing is, you know, on the other, right on the other side, there's a wonderful,
Oh,
kayak one, yeah, boat launch. So it seems like, you know, we need one on our side, maybe somewhere else, but yeah, I don't know where.
One of the discussions Mary had with me was a land-based trail which presents certain obstacles. Trying to get to the Chambers Farm and then from there to IBM. I think you could do that. I think that could be doable. But getting from the city to the Chambers Farm or Esopus Avenue or Landover or Buckley Streets or any of those places, you've got the golf course in the way and a lot of private small owners that probably are, you know, don't want to hear about this. So I think Mary had a separate discussion with Kevin Smith, who in turn called me up, and I just walked him through the map, and I said, "You think you can assemble this?" Because I don't think I can.
yeah.
It's,
I don't know. Or you could call the golf course, though. I don't know.
it could, I mean, I guess that would
Then
be
you
like
still have
a
a
huge
complete streets
greenway.
approach.
It would be a huge greenway type trail, right? That would cross a lot of people's land. Yep.
Yeah, I was involved with the Rondout Creek Access Trail years ago, and that went horribly off the rails. Just,
Yeah.
do you remember that one? It was about 20 some odd years ago. It was done with Greenway money, and Rosendale and Marbletown were partnering to bring the towpath and turn it into a real trail, but across all kind of private property most of the way. There were a few areas that D&H Canal Museum owned, and there might have been another public owner. But for the most part, I think Century House Historic Society owns a couple of pieces. But for the most part, it was private land, and the owners objected. And then it just turned into this big thing, and pretty soon, the Rosendale Town Supervisor didn't get reelected. It was the late Phil Turpinning, if you remember him, back in the day. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, so.
The public outreach wasn't handled correctly, I don't think, on that.
I think that it would be really good to, go to the public meeting
Yeah.
and see what the plan is, because this is, you know, it's for the entire lower surface.
Yeah.
And, see where it goes from there and make sure people get there.
And it's, according to Mayor, it's supposed to open up some funding for projects.
Right, because it's DEP money, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The other mapping she asked me for was from the thing that you attended, Julie, the 2009 Hudsonia training. They have a
Oh, you
report.
mean the biodiversity?
Mary has the report, the thing that Nora
Oh, yeah.
did.
Yeah.
She's got that, but what she doesn't have is all the ortho mapping and a lot of the other mapping that was done.
Okay,
Hudsonia sort of deleted that off their website, they just have the report up.
okay.
It used to be the opposite, they had all this ortho mapping and
Yeah.
technical details, but the report was missing. Now they got the report and all the tech stuff is out. But I have both, so
Wow.
she asked me for that, but it's 70 megabytes, so I've gotta upload it and send it.
Well, is that something Kingston should have on their website?
If we can put it on the NRI page,
Yeah,
if it isn't already there.
At what point does that mapping now become relevant?
Well, it's just soil, there's largely a soil,
Okay.
Yeah, the soil mapping is really what they're looking at, because that will indicate hydric soils, will indicate wetlands, and then certain other types of soils will indicate that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was a lot of soil mapping, that was the layer that they were using for the most part, but there were other habitat mapping in there as
Yeah.
well, so.
Julie, can you just bring up the Asokas for a minute?
Yep.
Just so that you guys all feel a little bit more.
I don't know if it's on the city website. I think it's just on that Sony.
Because I think, part of it is that the Asokas, because there isn't very much, there is no public, I mean, I think the kids in the neighborhood know how to, walk down from like the Roosevelt area and stuff and figure out how to get to the water, but. It's
So
not.
I live uptown and I walk to the DEC boat launch in
Oh, nice.
Ulster a lot. And there's always people from Dutch Village, like, I've seen people fishing, I've seen people sitting on picnic blankets, walking their dogs, like, it is used informally, so I.
Yeah, so it could be,
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't know, like, what goes on behind the plaza, but I think that, I just think there's an opportunity.
yes, oh, perfect, yeah. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
So
see,
you
that's
can-
where the public access is, right?
Yeah, and, right, it's where that storage space is.
Right.
And that was a flooded, a kind of, what's the word? When a house is flooded a lot, they can just get bought out.
Yeah.
So they bought the house, one or two houses out and put the ramp in and everything, so.
Right.
But you can see that it, it goes, from the picnic pizza. Well, it goes behind all the card, it's really hard to kind of get your bearings because to the left in this picture, it's, it's where they're putting, where they've been trying to build something for a really long time.
Oh,
They
yes,
haven't.
right.
Yeah.
Next.
And then it goes under the
Yeah.
throughway, and then it's behind at the car dealer, which is Romeo Ford, I guess, yeah. So anyway, and then going the other way, it goes behind Dutch Village, behind the plaza, and then it cuts up, and that's
The Newcomb property.
the Newcomb property. You can see where the Army National, the armory is, and all that where it's really wooded is where it goes up, and and then Orlando Street is another place you can get in, which is in town of Ulster, but it's that's one place where it's not easy to launch, but you can launch. So anyway, it's really, yeah, there's the golf club. And
Yeah,
there's,
Mary mentioned that there's the Creek Iverson that was trying to do some of this mapping too, and he had something on the right side of the golf course, but I couldn't quite figure out how he was doing that. It just didn't, there were too many other property owners, looked like.
Where's Orlando Street?
This is Esopus, this is Orlando, Buckley.
Oh, thank you, okay.
yeah. All right, great, thanks for doing that. Yeah, there you can see that, the ad also.
Right.
Farmstock Farm. Yes. Okay, great. So I think I would say to go back to the original, so there's two things. One is the stream management plan that's coming out. And then to think about whether or not, if we do a new LWRP, if we can include the Esopus all in the same document. So nothing for, so keep that in mind December 5th, because that's between now and our next meeting.
And where was the meeting?
Oh, Restorative Justice is on Broadway, right near the our traffic circle. It's on the right.
Near St. James.
By the 721 media center.
Yeah, by 721. It's,
Probably.
I'm trying to think what's
Yeah.
across, yeah, across from the anchor, but the anchor's not there, so. Anyway, it's almost the first thing you come when you come off the circle, because there's a parking lot and then the store gets.
It's like an orange building.
Yeah, it has copper roof.
I can share the.
Addresses are overrated.
Yeah.
the flyer. And Jen Metzger just sent it out in her,
Oh,
her
great,
newsletter too.
Yeah, no, that's really good to know. So anyway, we have another meeting with the resiliency assessment. So next is New Jersey, New York, New York, New Jersey hats. Is anything going on with that?
Well, yeah, but very slowly. They still are waiting, sifting through all the comments that were made, like in March.
Mhm.
And they're accepting additional comments, but I don't believe they're official comments. So like, if you want to comment, you can send them something else, but I don't think it appears in the record because
And we're still
They-
waiting on if we're gonna do anything like talk to our
yeah,
assemblyman.
because we don't know what Bryce Weissmuller and company down at the Army Corps are up to. Well, as soon as they give us a new update, the last update is dated September,
Mhm.
and we're into November, and it mentioned something about later in the fall, so it could be tomorrow.
It sounds like a lot of these things are just happening. It's like, it's always good to have things around Thanksgiving and Christmas and when people are really busy anyway and
Yeah, they don't pay attention.
they
and it
can't,
just
they
goes
can't
through.
comment.
Been there, done that, yeah.
Okay. Pollinator gardens, so I watched, I've heard Doug Tallamy gave a talk at Carey Institute in the last, couple weeks. Did anyone else attend that? So, I've seen his stuff, and it's way beyond pollinators. And Doug Tallamy is a professor at Delaware University, and he basically says that, we need biodiversity, we need native plants for more than pollinators. We need it for birds, because we need caterpillars so that the babies can eat, the baby birds can eat the caterpillars, and then we'll have more birds and a lot of other things. But he just has all this, he has a lot of data to show. And now he started this program called My National Park. And he has shown where, like, all the lawns in the United States equal the area of all our national parks. And then if we converted X percent of that to native plants and, gardens and stuff like that, we would have so much more biodiversity. And anyway, and so it's really a nice idea. I would just say it's beyond pollinators, because it's like oak trees are really important for biodiversity and for birds and other animals and stuff. And so there's just, that's one of the main things. So it's not like putting in echinacea and, and milkweed. It's going beyond that. And it's, I think it would really be a good thing for Kingston to do. So we just have to figure out if we want to be involved in, getting people to do my national park and things like that, and following Doug Tallamy. And I talked to someone who's doing some stuff in Newburgh, and they're following all of his It's kind of,
Who is
I
this
guess,
again?
Sustainable Hudson Valley is working, they got a Rotary grant to,
Oh,
work with,
good.
it's not parks. It's an NGO, but anyway, they're planting and they're kind of following Doug Tallon. And,
I see any of this stuff on this website.
oh yeah, I mean, he has tons of books,
Yeah.
you know, he has
Yeah.
books but yeah, it's mynationalpark.org. And, you know, and he uses really interesting words like, he says, if you want a tree that is just because you like it, and he uses this example of a ginkgo tree, and he goes, that's a statue. It does nothing.
Actually, that's so unfair because they're amazing air cleaners.
Well,
They
that,
really are. That's why they thrive in cities.
Yes.
Because they actually chew up all a lot of CO2 and particles.
yeah, and I mean,
I'm gonna stick up for ginkgos. They're also the only tree that has a male tree and a female tree. All other trees are self-pollinating.
trees, yeah.
They're
yeah.
dinosaurs, basically.
Oh, I know. I mean, I love ginkgos. I have 2 of them, so,
Hopefully not a female.
and I have no idea, but anyway,
No, you know when the fruit.
well, they're in the woods anyway,
Oh,
so
okay.
they're not on the sidewalk, but, anyway, so and it just really like clicked to me, because I've been really kind of lazy about kind of converting more of my stuff to native plants. And you know, the big point is like baby birds they have to have something soft, so they can't eat seeds. They have to have, and they eat a huge amount of them, so. And moths are more important than butterflies, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Carey Institute does put all their recordings on their website.
Well,
And,
maybe when we do an Earth Day
yeah,
next year, we could incorporate some of this stuff.
oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, legislation on the release of helium balloons. Did you do any homework?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Yay!
It's not a bunch, but I did find some stuff. So there's actually quite a lot of states that actually have banned the usage of like releasing balloons or just like using them in general, like in public spaces, or at least have some type of like legislation like limiting the usage of them. And that's California, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida. I'm pretty sure Hawaii has completely banned the release of all balloons into the air. Maine, Maryland, Rhode Island, Tennessee, and Virginia.
So there's state bans.
Yeah, there's also like more like specific like city bans as well. I think there's a place in California, Laguna Beach, and they also banned the usage of balloons because of like wildfire risk, and also just like marine animals like ingesting the balloons. Yeah, so there's actually a lot of balloon bans. So
Are we going to propose one? Is that the idea?
There was an issue because there was a party at Kingston Point Beach and they released balloons. And people were upset, so we got a request, so we have to decide whether it's worth it or whatever, but New York does not have
yeah, I didn't
any.
see much about
Oh,
it.
that's interesting.
Did you come across actual legislation that can be copied?
I didn't get that far,
Okay.
but I feel like there definitely should be. It seems like there's a lot.
California's always a place to.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just doing like a 1-second search, New York State Senate Bill 2023 S2262 prohibits the release of balloons with exceptions for manned hot air balloons, government-related experiments, and balloons released indoors.
So we could just like
Write a letter of support.
write a letter of support. And then
What stage is it?
it's 2023, you said, right?
Stand by.
Wow.
And could we add that to city park rules without
It already is.
Yeah, so if you rent like the pavilion or something, that's right.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
Good luck with it.
But I don't know if it's, like if you just, 5 people go out into the park and release them, they probably can do it because they haven't rented a space.
So this says it adds section 11-0331 to the environmental conservation law that prohibits the intentional outdoor release of certain balloons defined in subsection 1 and provides for exceptions to the ban in subsection 2. So we should probably look at whatever the environmental conservation law is that they're referencing, because it seems like it does prohibit the release of balloons. Anyway, this was dated January 19th, 2023. And
Who's
I don't know how
a
to know.
sponsor, or do they have a number?
well, that was Senate 2262, and the related assembly version of this bill is A3851. Oh, this is saying it's in committee.
But that still means we could write to.
They're both in committee.
Is there any name that you recognize as a sponsor?
I don't see where the
On the
sponsors.
assembly, it
Oh,
says
Assembly
field.
Field, THIELE.
See where field.
M of A Field. And the Senate is sponsored by Anthony Palumbo from the first Senate district.
From the what, first?
Yep.
Not that I know what that is. So,
Sounds like a pilot.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it's more, a lot, yeah, could be more marine animal stuff too.
For Theo, he's got a nice picture of the Montauk Lighthouse. That tells a pretty
All right, well, can you do a little more research on that and see what's happening and, yeah, great.
Basically flying plastic bags.
Mhm. Yeah. Especially when they Mylar, I mean, I think either Mylar or just the rubber ones,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but most of them are mine.
probably.
They're saying no person, this is the Assembly's version, says, no person shall knowingly release or intentionally cause to be released outdoors a balloon. For purposes of this section, balloon should refer to a flexible, non-porous bag made of materials such as rubber, latex, polychloroprene, or nylon fabric that contains helium, hydrogen, nitrous oxide, oxygen, air, or water.
Wow.
No balloon fights?
No what?
Oh, water balloon fights.
Aren't we supposed to run out of helium in like 30 years anyway? Not if we keep it.
Yeah,
in
that's
things.
No, this is saying no water balloon fights. That's what this is saying.
Oh my God.
No person shall knowingly release or intentionally cause to be released outdoors a balloon, which includes a water balloon. No water balloon fights.
Even if you pick them up. I like water.
Yeah, good luck with enforcement.
Wow, I'm not voting for that.
Another protest.
I mean, water balloon fights are unusual out of my house.
You have to do them indoors. That'll be
Isn't
fun.
latex better than, isn't it a natural material?
Well,
It doesn't decompose. It's
We pick up all of our water pieces.
all right, good. Well, it
Awesome.
seems like we're on the track for that, so thank you both for doing that. Let me see, action on wetland preservation. Okay, so I also went to, I also attended a presentation with the DEC. It was, I guess it was Hudsonia and
Hudson River Estuary Program.
Yeah, the Hudson River Estuary Program. And they, they pretty much, I think I've already attended. So, there are definitely things that we need to do. And I think Kevin and I was going to look at what kind of protection there is also. So I would just say I'm educating myself about this. But they also did talk about, one of the things that was really nice was they actually they told us everything and they gave us quizzes because it's so complicated, like, oh, I know, it was Emily Swenson, who was the speaker, and she's a lawyer, and so to understand whether or not, it's a DEC wetland or if it's a federal wetland or if it's not protected at all. And she really took us through the whole thing. Don't ask me to repeat it, but it's like, is it navigable water? And, or is it for DEC, it's slightly different, but I did learn a lot and I could go back and figure it out again. So I think we just need to understand our own wetlands more to see if there's a threat and if it's protected already. So we just gotta keep this on the agenda so that we'll do our homework.
Is there a size to the wetlands we want to look at? Or any size will?
Well, that's the point, is that this, I think that people can choose not only their side, the buffer and what they want to, and, like some of the towns rely on a wetland, kind of like a building inspector, but they're a wetland inspector, and they go out, and some of them, are mapped, some of them are not mapped. They're based on the qualities of the wetland to figure that out. So, but that's the point, is that because of the way the EPA, the federal has changed, these small, especially, we just need to protect our wetlands that are not connected to navigable water. Like if there's a stream and it's considered navigable, then anything is directly connected. But if there's something over here that has no connection, those are no longer protected. And you can provide a buffer around them and so on. So that's what we want to look at.
So it was called Protecting Wetlands and Streams in Your Community. It was a webinar on November 9th. I attended also.
Yeah.
And the recording will be posted on the DEC website, and I will give Kevin the link that they'll put it on. But it's not posted.
Oh, yeah.
So like New Paltz has one, Woodstock has one. And they usually are wetland and water course laws, so they're also protect like smaller streams, either intermittent or perennial small streams and stuff. We don't really need it either, but
I just have a quick question about, I'm thinking of a specific area of Kingston where my understanding is that there are wetlands there because of the built environment. Along the O&W section of the rail trail behind Hurley Avenue, there's like the old Freeman building and stuff. Would those count as something that should be protected, or?
I know,
Or is
they're
it
basically
to be discussed?
there because of the causeway that was from the train.
But now there's like turtles there.
Yeah, and I guess that's a really good point, because someone could fill them in, right? Yeah, that's a really good, thank you for bringing that, because I was thinking of somewhere else. Well, what we're dealing with at Kingston Point is a wetland that's happening, is migrating because of sea level rise, but this, built environment. The train tracks have it's amazing how many wetlands are, and they're really cool, you know, all along, whether, you know,
Yeah, by the plaza too.
yeah,
Yeah, some of it's mapped as national wetlands inventory, and some of it doesn't seem to be.
But we could always do any kind of local
yeah,
regulation on anything.
Right.
Yeah, then there's a couple of odd quirky ones, like there's one, I think it's on Second Avenue.
yeah, I know,
You know that one? Yeah.
yeah. And none of them are connected to,
We
I
almost-
should say most of them are not connected.
Yeah, we almost protected that one to the Kingston Land Trust, but most of the access was through a neighbor. Not through the person that wanted to give the easement.
Oh, God.
I think it was this person had the steps, it was the person who wanted to grant the easement. That was gonna be. Oh,
But you know, I mean, the other ones we, you know, people talk about that don't even exist now are, I mean, of course, okay, first of all, ecologically, like a wetland is supposed to fill in and then it becomes a meadow and then, you know, like that. So if you're familiar with that, but there's ice, you know, there, like 50 years ago, people will say, oh, we went skating here and we went skating there. And now it's just, it's not wetlands and it's either been filled in or it's just natural progression. Yeah. So. All right, good. So more homework on that, wetlands, but, and if you want to watch that film, that would be good. And then the other homework is to figure out what, if there's any protection for, already in a new zone. Because we did make sure wetlands were put in a lot of places. Okay, so old business, Hudson River Anchorage is its old business. And, so, and how many people saw the news about that today, about the barges? Okay, so they decided to withdraw. Anyway, basically right now, it's back to the way it was. So they were defining the harbor as all the way up to Troy Dam or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but they did say that there would be, they could still take some action, or they were gonna do it more formally. The Coast Guard was thinking of, anyway, I just barely read the article. So it seems like it's a little bit of a, it's definitely a victory that they backed off. Right?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else did you get from it? I don't
I'm
like to
I'm
test my
gonna dig
reading
into it.
comprehension.
I'm a shipping journalist, so I'm going to be digging into it.
Oh, nice.
I'm not entirely clear what the risk is, whether it's from bilge pumping or, I mean,
Well, if they put anchors down, they scrape the bottom and there's habitat down there and there's like,
And PCBs.
and
yeah, but
PCBs.
the objection was that they were polluting the ships themselves, the oil barges themselves were releasing some kind of pollutant, and that's what I want to find out about.
What's
Oh,
That was
I thought it
something
was
they
like
made the
about
objection.
the risk of.
Yeah, see, there's
Oh,
something,
still.
there's something a little odd about it for me. I don't, it feels like somebody's bailiwick that kind of, because I want to look into why an oil barge would be emitting any kind of pollutant. I understand the point about anchorage and stowing up PCBs, but that was not what I read as the objections, it's saying that polluting the river by releasing something. So anyway,
So
so
if
I'm
they're-
going to be looking into that professionally anyway, because I'm.
Oh, cool, yeah. Yeah, because the last time this happened, they were talking about how they were trying to basically just use the Hudson as a storage area until
Right.
prices change
Yeah,
or something.
because that's not
like
ideal. But I mean, we want more river traffic. That's
Right,
less, you know, but with cargo and
Yeah,
grain freight and all that,
Right,
you know, so.
right. Yeah, no, that's a really good point, so. But are you aware of the very beginning of the Riverkeeper and everything and ExxonMobil and all of that?
No, Oh, okay, I should look into
So-
that.
Well, basically, this, this ship, I guess it was parked outside, like near Port Ewan.
Mhm.
And they were cleaning out, they were bringing oil over,
Mhm.
and then they were pumping water into their, they were pumping water out of the Hudson and taking it for swimming pool water down in the Caribbean. And
Wow.
yeah, and there was a big settlement for that and everything, so it's pretty interesting. Yeah, so, so they, and I think they were dumping, kind of rinsing a little bit.
Yeah, so
right?
bilge pump, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, yeah, no, that's terrible, and even a
They were
little bit, and even a small oil spill,
Yeah,
especially in the river, is a huge disaster. But I don't know that, so that's interesting, but I haven't.
Yeah, that's
seen
what,
any
where it
examples of that.
started with the oil.
mhm, and it was just,
Interesting, but then, this was how long ago?
2015,
oh,
really?
no, I thought it was farther back than that.
I'm reading this off of Pat Ryan.
Oh, no, it's gotta be.
Well, they might have been ongoing before.
Oh, no, it
that.
was
This is
like-
when they,
It was way before 2015.
Okay, I'm gonna look into it and I'll, okay,
Yeah, it's
thank
like
you.
Hudson River water and, actually, I thought the Hudson River, anyway, I'm not gonna, anyway, there was a settlement and someone got, yeah,
oh, that's a different thing, what you're talking about. I'm talking about the anchorages.
Oh, yeah, the
being
Anchorage.
dammed.
No, I'm talking about,
Or suspended,
Yeah.
I should say. I think is
yeah,
the
that
term
was,
they
so
use.
that was
That was
2015,
2015,
yeah.
Are you talking?
But I'm going way,
Oh, yeah, no,
For
no, that, no,
Yeah.
that
Way
is way back.
way back, yeah. I mean, in my
So
lifetime.
they were taking
Yeah, that's a
PCB
while.
for water to go swim in the Caribbean.
Well, yes.
That's lovely, all right.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Enhance the pristine tropical environment.
Okay, let me see, oh my God. Going through all this, okay, Hudson River PCB Superfund site, that was just, I put that on because we listened to the talk this earlier today. And, I guess, you know, we heard some of the stuff we can do individually. And, you know, like, write the EPA administrator and join Clean, the Clean Hudson group. But it's really is an important thing for us because of fishing and inhaled water and,
Volatiles in the air,
yeah, the vomit.
generally.
So do we want to generate a letter from the CAC?
I think we could, but are they gonna send us a letter? So, are we ready to do that, or do we need to wait till the EPA puts out their 5-year plan? I didn't really, what did you think from the, well, they said we could write it, right?
But right now, you would be
Yeah.
writing a letter to the speculation about the plan.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Well, they've failed to meet their targets.
But how do we
The
know that
last
until we see the
report.
plan?
No, they failed to meet their 2017 target as well as, but you're right, but it's like, what are they gonna do about it? So when is the
Right.
plan supposed to come out? I wasn't clear.
They said between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah, no,
So let's talk about it then.
okay.
Do you think that there's any opportunity for the hard air quality people to like test?
I can ask them if PCBs are one of the parameters that they can test.
That's great, yeah. And it is very upsetting to me, at least that they haven't even started thinking about the entire rest of the estuary. Really,
This is the same lot that didn't test the pollution from the World Trade Center in Long Island.
oh,
Nothing, no samples
hmm,
at all. Massive wind blew everything over. And they were like, oh, no, it's, so I don't have a lot of time. So,
That's interesting. Yeah. And I thought the fish advisories was even farther into the future, but, okay, open issue, anything more, I mean, for that, you brought up, I already forgot which.
The lower surface management.
The lower surface management plan, so yeah, so we should definitely watch that and see what, is this gonna be comment period or are they just putting it out?
Yeah, Mary told me that, it was gonna be a public comment
There would be
period, and the
30.
final plan would be in February.
Okay.
But I don't have any documentation or anything to back that up. I
Yeah.
could have turned the county upside down on their website. Just couldn't locate it. Might be there, just couldn't find it.
Mhm. Okay. So we should watch that.
Yeah.
See if we wanna come. Try to.
Mary will be in touch with me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
And probably you as well.
But who's in the county is following that, because I,
I thought you said planning,
yeah, okay.
maybe environmental as well.
I think the department she's working with.
Well,
Europa, and she also mentioned Kristen too, which
All right, Chris.
indicated planning to me, but Europa, it's one of the other.
Well, yeah, Kristen was at their last meeting too, so.
Okay, Kristen Wilson and Europa McGovern. It's amazing. Okay. CAC membership, okay, so Ted says he might, so right now to Anita, Ted, and Helen's expire on December 31st. So we're not going to tell you that.
You just did.
Just for you didn't, so. And Ted's thinking about not continuing. And we just, so Anita, I think you said you would continue. You did?
I think so.
You could take it back. No, we really appreciate you. And so Helen, have you thought about it?
I think I mean, I don't feel like I contribute a huge amount, but I'm happy to continue.
Okay. And then we just need to keep beating the bushes for.
What happened to
new-
that woman who seemed to be interested and then she wouldn't answer my emails?
Yeah,
Did you
I
reach
haven't
out to
got
her?
through to her.
No.
Yeah.
But she just had a baby, so.
Yeah, she
Swamped.
probably realized that it's really hard.
So do you want me to send, the way that this would typically work is that you would need to reapply.
Okay, sure.
And then
We
you get reappointed.
Yeah, that's a good, thank you. And then in the meantime, if you have people that you can invite to the next meeting, then just tell. Anyway, and I will try to do, right, go ahead.
I do think I'm gonna leave. I'm sorry, everyone. The reason I joined the CAC was because I left my job at the land trust and I wanted to stay involved in this space. And now I'm back at the land trust and I'm very busy. The only thing I'm trying to figure out now is if I also want to leave the EMC or see that term through to the end. And if I do stay with the EMC, I would be willing to maybe submit like a written report to you all. Unless you want to change out the liaison with someone who's
Yeah.
on the CAC, if that makes more sense
Okay,
for you.
yeah, because it is nice to have that connection. So, all right, we'll think about that. So because the EMC is, the legislature appoints you,
Right.
right, the county legislature. So do you know when your term is up? Or
I think I have another year there, but I'm not 100% for sure.
Yeah, and one of the things about the EMC is that Climate Smart is right before the EMC. But I'm not on Climate Smart, so, if we needed to, I could go back, but then I feel like, when is the government, when is our, whatever, government safety or whatever.
Public safety.
Yeah, because that's, anyway, because it seemed like that was conflicting. Is that right? Anyway,
I used to do that, but it conflicted with
It is.
Climate Smart.
right,
The meeting would always run over about
Yeah.
10 minutes and then
and that's the
Steve shot
problem
out
with
and
the
dropped it off
EMC
the
too.
agenda.
Yeah.
I don't know
I think
if
Ted
Steve
and I
wants
kind of
the meeting
switched.
anymore, but he did it. And then I'd have to wait until they did all that parking and all this, I'd be there all, quarter to midnight before CAC would come on. Not literally, but it seemed.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, all right, so I think did you figure that it out, Julie? And,
What are you asking me to figure out? When public safety is?
yeah. 'cause
This
I-
month, it's the 21st, which is a third Tuesday. That doesn't feel normal. October, it
in
was
the 28th, yeah.
the fourth Wednesday, which feels normal.
Great.
The fourth
fourth
Wednesday
Wednesday.
at
Yeah.
6:30.
Wait, but what day is Thanksgiving?
Next Thursday.
Thanksgiving is
So they're meeting,
a week.
wait,
The
today's
week of
14th,
Thanksgiving.
they're meeting in 1 week.
Yes.
Okay, Tuesday night, okay. Yeah, and then with the EMC, they usually don't do November, they just have a party in the November, December timeframe. So sometimes it's like the first week in December, but the parties are pretty good, so. Anyway, okay, great. So anything anyone can do to encourage other members, I would appreciate it. So anything more on that? Communications?
No.
No. And there is on Thursday this week, there's Scenic Hudson is putting on, they're reporting out on their public access. They've done a study kind of figuring out how you can get to the Hudson. And I don't know if it's too late to go, but it's free lunch and it's in Hudson. So it's like all morning and it kind of ends with lunch until 1:30.
Friday.
Or maybe that's.
Oh, I don't know.
It might be
It's not
something
Friday, it's
else.
Thursday. Hudson
It's
River Access
Thursday.
Forum from 8:30 to 1:30.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. But aren't they doing something on Friday in Kingston? But at,
Where is this on Thursday?
it's in Hudson at the,
It's in Hudson.
8:30 to 1:30 and,
There's also the Flood Resiliency Network. They had a session today in Albany, which I couldn't get to, but
I couldn't
I'm
get to that.
trying to see if I can squeeze the Yonkers section in.
Thursday, the Hudson, Scenic Hudson thing is at the Basilica.
The cylinder, right? So I don't know if you can, because it's lunch, I don't know if it's too late to respond, but if anyone's interested. I don't know what they'll say about Kingston.
I'm presenting.
Specific. Oh, you are? Oh, okay, good.
Speaker. Anyone wants to go, I'm going. If you want to go.
Yeah, I just felt like it was, I just have such a busy week that Thursday, I couldn't feel like I could get there. Oh, great. So what are you speaking of?
All the work that we have done on resiliency, I get 10 minutes. Call me.
But it is good because, I mean, part of the Hudson River Access is dealing with the railroads, railroads. Yeah. And anyway, there's been a lot of money put into getting better access, fishing piers and stuff like that. So. Okay, so that was the other one, the Flood Resiliency Network. There's today and then Yonkers. I can't remember, when is that?
Thursday.
This Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, the 16th, I think it's like 10 to 2 or something, because I haven't registered for it yet, because I don't know if I can do it.
Well, what's happening with the Amtrak tracks being closed? Did they open up again?
You take Metro North,
They're not
of
going
course,
to
on the tickets.
But isn't it the same track?
No.
Oh.
Once it gets to Spite and Dieval, where the Harlem River comes out, Amtrak goes along a pontoon bridge and down the west side of Manhattan, and this parking structure,
Oh, that's where it is? It's on Manhattan?
yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
somewhere in the West 50, it's near where all those passenger ship terminals are.
Yeah, when I read the article, I was like,
No, I knew where it was, I was like, ooh.
Means Metro North could be really busy.
yeah.
Yeah, this is like one of those things that happened in, Surfside in Miami, the thing went unstable.
Yeah.
And the building collapsed, the engineer came, looked, gave a report, called the building department, they shut down the building and Amtrak.
Oh my God. So this could be a really long time.
Yes, really.
Yeah, it depends upon the structural engineering.
Oh my
If they can
God.
Shore this.
So
building
everyone
up
has to
or
like
what.
get off at Poughkeepsie and take Metro North?
Fred Croton, Harmon. That's where they're doing, I just did it. I didn't do it on Amtrak, but a lot of people getting off at Croton Harmon or getting on at Croton Harmon.
To take Amtrak.
Take Metro North to get to New York, and then they gotta do whatever they gotta do there.
Oh my God, what a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
I don't recommend going down there on Amtrak.
Just another event. This is the earliest announcement of any event ever. Earth Day 2024 is May 11th. Yay. We are still trying to determine the time. It's either going to be 11 to 5 or 11 to 6.
Is it going to be similar to last year?
Yes. It's going to be just like last year. As big and awesome as last year.
It seemed like it really tailed off. It finished at 5 last time or 6?
It finished at 5. And Climate Smart and I am pushing for 11 to 5.
Because really there was almost
It's
nobody
May
after
11th.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So it will be
around
1 hour shorter and we'll end at the same time likely.
Yeah.
So
That sounds smart. I'm with you on that.
and we're having our first planning meeting on Monday, the 27th at
November 22nd?
November 27th. I know,
27th.
it's ridiculous. At 1 o'clock, if anyone wants to participate, shoot it.
For Monday.
And then again, December 5th for the, so who's sent for the stream, who's sending that out? Do you have something to send that Mary gave you?
Mary's supposed to give me the flyer, but I just saw it today in Jim Metzger's email, so I think it's coming out of the county.
Okay,
But I can forward.
great. All righty. How are we doing for time? We started at 6:30, right? So even later.
Yep.
Complete streets, anything?
I'm afraid I don't have anything to report and to catch up on Zoom recordings.
Okay. Planning board, Kevin?
I didn't see much on there, but we can give it a second glance real fast. Let's just go quickly to there. Where's the camera? Calendar.
While you're talking, I just
Right.
want to say that during the planning, we've always talked about the trail that the O&W And, you know, they finally finished the trail from Washington Avenue, and it's so beautiful. It's so, in case you're not aware, it's, what's the name of that hotel?
Super 8.
Super 8, and they have a nice parking area, and they, you know, really wide pavement. And it goes all the way then to what they call the Hurling Trail. When it joins, it's kind of like a hairpin turn to get up this hill, but yeah, it's really nice to check it out.
It's a great, my favorite thing to tell people about that trail is I've seen an incredible amount of wildlife for being in Kingston. I've seen deer, coyote, snakes, turtles, rabbits. I've seen a bear on a jog out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's where he was talking about where the wetlands are. But it's
Yeah.
now, it used to be just a dirt path and you had to know what you were doing.
Right.
And now it's very well marked and,
Yeah.
I think you can get into it by going on Hurley rather than Washington. If you're on a bike, you cross at Hurley and come in, and then there's a path by the Freeman.
Yeah.
The former
The
Freeman.
old Freeman building, yeah. Cool.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's one item on the agenda, I'm trying to, I didn't catch this before. Rabbi Nucci's doing lot line revisions on East Strand. I'm looking for why he's doing it. Meeting materials, it isn't that, the meeting materials. I'm supposed to.
Is this, are you looking at the agenda for next week or last week?
Yeah, next week. Yes, I mean, the rest of it is just stuff that's, you know, something that's discussed previously or it doesn't pertain necessarily to CAC, but this very well could, but. Don't. Cheese from the fall, okay, no, they've totally redone this since last month. Okay, we're gonna hold this up and see what he's got a site plan and what he's got.
So would you go to the meeting then? Or do you watch it
I do watch it, yeah.
in real time or afterwards?
Depends what else is happening, yeah.
Are you allowed to speak if you're on Zoom or if you're?
Usually, no, I don't think so. I think you have to submit comments in advance or something. And that's just an EAF, it doesn't do anything.
So Rabbi Yanucci owns a lot of land along the roundabout, but he owns land other places too. So we don't even know what lot line is changing. Okay.
It's 124 East Strand. We have SBLs, but it's all the way over. It's got Tompkins Street spelled wrong. We're off to a good start. Let's see, it doesn't have Tompkins Street included in here. Okay, so it's all along the waterfront.
Okay,
So this is something we should look at to see if it's consistent with rest of the raise grant, right?
What would
To see
we,
if he's doing something that's not consistent. I don't know.
okay,
I can send you all this.
Okay.
And it's an EAF.
environmental assessment.
Environmental assessment form.
Okay, well, that's good. Thank you.
And one page in the EAF after, but I'm trying to see where it's got project description as to why. Don't see it.
Well, is that something we have to comment on before? Because they make a decision right then, like between now and then?
I don't know that they would make it that quickly. I can ask Suzanne. Yeah, I'll follow up with Suzanne and ask her.
Alright. So I mean, if we need to take action, I guess we can deputize you.
It's 136 to 198 and 124 to 134, so it's pretty much his footprint on the.
Maybe he's gonna sell some of it.
This is a lot line, that's not a subdivision.
A lot line adjustment, revising the lot line.
While you're trying to figure that out, has anything happened on Golden Hill that we spent a lot of time? Do I look there? I mean, they demolished the building, we know that.
Mhm.
But has there been any?
I haven't been
Construction.
tracking on that project, I don't know.
Okay.
He
Public
doesn't
safety,
explain it, he doesn't explain it.
okay,
Just tells you how many acres there are and how many will be left when he's done. Looks like he'll end up with two fairly equal parcels.
Hmm.
Instead of one smaller and one bigger. No. Have to play around with the parcel.
yeah,
And talk to
that's cool.
Suzanne, see
Okay.
what he's up to.
Public safety, nothing, but I will try to attend next Tuesday, 21st. Climate Smart Kingston, Kevin,
Climate Smart Kingston, okay. To Climate Smart Kingston.
do you want us to go to EMC and come back to you?
If I have it here, if I put it, I still have it on the disk, and I've got to look it up on my disk. If I have it here. then-
Can we?
No, go ahead, because
All right.
I've got to pull the disk down to get it to it.
That's fine.
Where's the-
Oh my God. Okay,
Oh, there it is, I got it.
all
Okay.
right, who's going? EMC,
EMC. So I did go to the EMC. We heard from Simon Skolnick, who is head of NISAC, New York State Association of Conservation Commissions. They do the New York State Conference on the Environment every year, and as I'm sure you know, he wants to do it in Kingston
oh, right.
next year. So there was a lot of talk about Julie Noble.
There was?
Yes, there was a lot of accolades, a lot of.
I hope there was a mention of she will never do it again.
No, have they reached out to you yet? Because that was their whole next step.
Not great.
And they were like,
All sit there and say,
she went
"Sure,
above-
do it
Well,
again."
they did acknowledge that you went above and beyond, and they don't want to put that pressure on you again.
It's not pressure from the outside, it's internal pressure. It's self-imposed.
Yeah,
I did briefly talk to the folks at the county, because they said that it came up at the EMC, but the reality is there's no staff at the EMC, so it would be on the county to do it. And I said, that means you're gonna put it on me, aren't you? So they said, well, we should probably talk about it. So,
they're like, let's provide Julie as much support as possible, but
well, that's not how they presented it to me.
they were.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
how did you all laugh?
Yeah, and they said, they did say, I think this one they just had in Ithaca that I went to was the first time they actually like turned a profit.
Oh my God.
And, they want to help with funding and stuff, but it does sound like it's gonna be a lot of work for somebody. And they were also asking like, is there anyone else who could take lead on it?
Yeah, like us.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with Simon.
So wouldn't it be nice if the town of Ulster got a CAC and then that would be their first thing they ever did?
First and last.
In coordination with
That would be nice.
Kingston and Hurley and Rosendale or something. Yeah. This-
What about New Paltz?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you need a meeting space in a hotel, right?
Yeah. What about the university?
Yeah, universities are really hard when students are in session. because they don't have any space.
You did
Yeah.
the chateau last time.
Yeah.
How was that? It's a space.
Super.
And Pete Lopez was there.
And Pete Lopez was there. He was my keynote.
Nice.
Well, if you,
At the time, he was the EPA
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, but
All right.
that was under a different administration. It was like touch and go.
if you do decide to do it, the KLT would, could help with the field trips if you want it. Great.
Yeah, there's other people that could give field trips. Oh, boy. So anything else at the CAC? I mean, at the EMC?
Yeah, actually, well, I also referred, I can't remember what town it was now. It was one of the ones that starts with M. Town, probably, someone who was interested in starting an organics program. I kind of gave a spiel, like, I think the first step would be a plan, which you could do with the Climate Smarts grant. And I referred them to you.
But I think that, like Saugerties, they're just having it at their transfer station. They're working with community company, so it's a drop off like that. It's not so extensive as every park and things like that. So there's other.
And I don't really remember any other major. I think it was pretty short. A lot of the discussion was around the conference of the environment, and then we just did kind of a roundtable of updates, and no updates are really standing out to me right now. And I just checked; they haven't sent out the minutes yet.
Okay. Climate smart, Kevin.
Okay, we got the climate smart minutes. Okay, no, here it is. Climate smart, yeah. We discussed the coolest refrigerants drive. Cal brought that up. And he suggested a spring refrigerant event, perhaps timed with the Earth Fair. Melissa wasn't there, so Cal filled in on giving us I came and went to the Repair Cafe. It was October 28th. Done. We discussed the Earth Fair, May 11th. And Julie gave us the clean electricity reports, including the carbon neutral project and data. We were discussing the utility bills as well. Ellie has pretty much resolved the billing issues. I don't know if you're aware that there were some nasty billing issues.
Oh, for within the government?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, just like everybody else has, but except these I think were worse. So it involves Suncommon, and they had to do sorting out all the invoices and the billing from Central Hudson. I think it's all and the meter itself. It was something technical with the meter. Yeah, right. So they sorted all that out. On the CCA, are we still waiting for Public Service Commission?
Community?
The community choice aggregation. They haven't signed off. So
Who's they? The
Public Service Commission.
Oh.
Yeah. So Mid Hudson Energy Transition, Simon and Susan are trying to follow that up. We reviewed Soul Smart over there, and Roberto brought up green hydrogen and submitted a fairly technical paper on green hydrogen. Which, if anybody's interested, I have that.
I would, could you send that to me?
Yeah, it's fairly technical. It's got some engineering specs in there. Yeah.
I'll skip all that.
Well, that's most of it.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. Organics were discussed. Ellie was discussing EVs. She's had problems with finding EVs for the commercial vehicles. And then she was also discussing an EV campaign for Kingston residents, which can be reported to NYSERDA for future grant opportunities. And then accessing DMV data sets was discussed. That was a sort of a lively discussion. I don't know if we determined if we can actually get our way in there into the.
To see who's
Yeah,
using it.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that means to see who has EVs.
yeah, I don't think you can do it.
You can,
I tried, you can do it?
we can get all the
You
registration.
can, okay, because I tried doing it in the meeting, and I got blocked, but, okay, so you gotta weigh in, okay. I will ask how you did it. The 2024 budget, the mayor has made, his recommended budget, which included something for $1,000 for the climate smart commission.
Wait, what about us?
Too late.
What? When do we have to do this?
Melissa brought this up in the summer, I
August.
think. What triggered it was.
Oh my God,
Melissa-
if you didn't remind us?
Melissa's been buying pizzas for the Repair Cafe, and she wanted to get reimbursed, and that triggered a long, complicated discussion as to budgeting. I'm not even sure that would fall under the budget even. Does it? I
Yeah,
don't
the
think
pizza
so.
probably won't.
Probably won't, so I guess it would go to Earth Fair. Yeah, that's what I figured.
So, but
So if CAC wants to have any amount of money in a budget, there has to be a request in August. And you just
oh my
go to the
God,
mayor by
I'm gonna
August.
put it on my calendar right now because we could hire a secretary, Kevin.
Well, you could,
I look at him as the secretary.
Kevin doesn't want to give it up.
No,
I
you can hire somebody if you want, yeah, that's okay. I mean, I don't do the historic anymore because they have a staff that does it.
Yeah.
And Dickerson does it.
Yeah, so, and what about our NICEAC dues?
Yeah, that always comes out of parks.
You just pay that
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
Cool.
I'm trying to see what else we had on here.
All right, so what's the deadline in August?
Probably it for climate smart, except for the deadline on budgeting.
Yeah, it would be better in July.
July. All right.
The rest of it is, I think Julie gave you a more updated version than what was in October at that meeting
Okay,
Yeah.
so
on resilience and,
is
or-
Climate Smart looking at the zoning for large solar arrays, or is that us because of land use?
The climate smart is still looking at it. But we reviewed the soul smart there,
Okay.
the same way we, it's done, you've seen that. Yeah, that was done over there. But the question came up, I think Melissa had brought up a couple of times. I think that she's probably the only person that's really actively looking at it besides me.
Okay.
It's Yorktown and, what's the other place, Croton? Somewhere
For what?
west of Cortland in Westchester.
Oh,
They
right.
have solar zoning that encompasses it, every aspect.
Mhm.
So is there some language there that we
Okay.
take? So I don't think Soul Smart was necessarily recommending that. And then when we started looking at the layers, where, like we already covered this, we were left with parking lots and some commercial rooftops if we were gonna do a larger, or something down like along the Sodas Creek, which I don't, like the Point of Praise, and people wanna recommend that. But Point of Praise has done it so far, they haven't flooded.
Right.
But
Okay.
you do have to bear that in mind when you're in a floodplain doing solar. Ground array.
All right. Thank you. Anything on the tree commission?
We just met 2 hours ago. And they didn't have a lot on the agenda. But several folks have asked about whether they're trying to protect trees, not have them taken down. And there was a good example at this meeting where, there actually one tree that is, sorry, I can't talk tonight. One tree that's in poor shape, that's taken down, and the other one, it was immediate, oh, that one's gotta go too, because the sidewalk is, doing this. And they're sending out their resident arborist who's gonna take a look at the feasibility of moving the sidewalk tree.
Yeah. Oh, great.
So. Because someone had suggested shading down the root, and it's just too big to do it. It would, cut off half the roots.
Well, that's good. Any word on our urban forester or whatever we're calling that?
We know we're getting someone. We don't know really any of the details yet, including what department they're gonna work in, if not their own department, what their qualifications will need to be, when the person will start.
So it's still
Yeah.
in flux.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that coming out of your office or the mayor or
Not sure.
even, oh, okay. But someone's thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, we've
You got
had
the
multiple
grant?
internal meetings.
Yeah, great.
There's a lot of, could it be planning, would it be DPW, would it be my office, would it be their own office, would it be under the mayor, who would direct this person? It's still to be determined.
Okay, great. All right, is there anything else for,
I just wanted to confirm that we'll have quorum on the 12th.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And you do you think you can be here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be here.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll be here.
And then
Yeah.
okay, and so can you review 1 week before, which is the 5th? If you're not gonna be there, you have to tell Julie where you will be if you can attend. Is that correct? So that you can put it in the agenda?
Yes, but they still have to have quorum here.
Right,
So I can't have 3 people off on other places.
right. I know, but for me, like today, I drove 5 hours to get here. And so I was like, God, I should have just, stayed where I was, but, because I would have had a quorum. But, so if you decide to do that, this is not just for December 12th, but if you still want to attend, you need to call us all up or contact us and see if we're gonna have a quorum.
Yeah.
So. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn at 8:37?
Motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, thank you. I didn't stop recording.